Right. All right. I think I'm at like 2 minutes late. Forgive me. And I think we're going live on. Okay, perfect. We are, in fact, going into the YouTube channel, which is great. And we're live on the Zoom side. Just got to get the Facebook side rolling. And I don't know how committed I am to the Facebook side tonight, to be honest with you. But let's see what we can do. All right, here we go. It's another installment, by the way, of Get A Klu in 52. Give me a moment to get things rolling on the Facebook side. Let's go live on Facebook and let's do a description. All right, there we go. All right. Get a clue in. Will it really? Why not? Let's try that. Let's see what happens. All right. Thank you for those of you that have come on live at 8. We're going live now. All right. To get included 50. Let's see if I can prop this in a way where it will stay. Let's turn that way and let's see what happens. Okay. Yeah, I'm having. All right, there we go. That's just what it's all about. Listen. Balance is power. All right, let's get this going. See what's happening is there we go. That's gonna work. I've got the power cord plugged into the phone, so it's not gonna set properly. That's what that was all about. All right. Hello. Welcome. Welcome everyone to another installment of Get A Klu in 52. I played almost 36 holes of golf today, and I'm not in the best mood right now. I'll be honest with you. That's just how it is. Now I'm a coach. I'm supposed to be able to get myself into any mood I want to be able to get myself into whenever I want to get in. So I'm going to do that now. And you know what? I'm going to unplug this so it sits up properly, and that'll stay. But you know what? I don't have enough battery life. You may cut out on me, but I'm going to stay here. Welcome to another installment of Get A Klu in 52. Hi, Patty. Let me say hello to you right away. Thanks for joining. And let's go ahead and get into it. This is tip number 10 in the communication section. This is the last tip in the communication section before we move on to another section next week. That's exciting. I believe that's going to be the marketing section, 12 tips in the marketing section. But for those of you that have the book, the last year's version of the book, Get A Klu in 52, right? We went in a different order this year. After I read through all of these tips last year, every Sunday night in 2020, I realized I could do it better this year. So I did it better. And that's what we're doing. So we've started with the communication section first, and tonight is tip 10. Oh my goodness, here we go. Patty, can you take a deep breath with me? I got to review 9 tips before I get into the 10th tip. And it's like, here's what I want everybody to know about me. I have a lot of evolution in front of me. In other words, I'm evolving. Okay. And I'm going to say this, though. This is the truth. Life's kind of boring. Just life in and of it's so. I create these challenges for myself, and maybe they're healthy, maybe they're not. But to commit to being here every Sunday night, regardless of whether I play golf and drink all day on the golf course, or not, I'm still committed to being here. And it's like one of these healthy challenges that I create for myself. Like, life's kind of boring, I say to myself sometimes. And then I say to myself, well, or I ask myself, well, how can you make it exciting today? Well, today I made a commitment to golf with a client of mine at one golf course at 9 o'clock in the morning. Made another commitment to golf with a not client, but a friend of mine at like 1:40 in the afternoon, 9:10, 1:40. I'm like, the 9:10 is not going to get us done in time for the 1:40. Let me show up at 8 a.m. So I woke up at 6 a.m. to get to the course by 8 a.m., hoping we could get on early so that I could do this Herculean thing. And I set up a challenge in front of myself that was just like, I knew all the while that there's a good chance I wouldn't get it done, but it didn't stop me. I still tried, and I got a lot of good things done today. And here I am for another installment of Get a Clue in 52. Set up a challenge for myself. Let's see how many holes of golf can I play and still keep it together and be there at 8 p.m. to read another tip among the 52. And here we are. So let's go ahead and review this. I'm going to skip past dedications. I'll pick that up again next week. Patty, will you remind me, Jeff, you skipped some dedications. Let's just get into the review of the first 9 tips. First 9 tips in the communication section, right? Tip number 1 in communication starts on page 16. It's checking baggage. We all show up to communication with baggage. Heredity, culture, and personal past experience, right? We show up with all of that. And if we are clear about what we're bringing to the party and what others are bringing to the party, or we make our mind more aware of what others are bringing, what's in their bags, we'll be better communicators. Tip number 2, invite all of your senses to the listening party. A lot of times people confuse listening with hearing. They are distinct. We hear with our ears, but we listen with our mind. And we can listen to anything we observe. So we can listen to what we smell. We can listen to what we touch. We can listen to what we taste, on and on. I invite you to invite all of your senses to the listening party in tip number 2. All right, tip number 3 is overcome these. You'll overcome a lot. They are the barriers to critical thinking. Perhaps this is the most important tip in the entire book. Overcome stereotyping, frozen evaluations, self-interest, ego defense, and ethnocentrism. Just to sum them up. We went deeper when we actually went through it. And that got us to tip number 4, which was replace statements with questions. Oh, man. Maybe the second most important. No, I don't know. I don't know how important this tip is among the 52. But wow, what an important tip. Hey, Charlie, I see you. Let me welcome you for coming on board, Charlie, all the way from South Africa. I see Patty from Chicago, but we're reviewing tips 1 through 9 in the communication section before we read word for word tip number 10. Now, tip number 5 is a fun one. CSI, crime scene investigation, communication. I was just using the metaphor, crime scene investigation, evidence. You get a mind wrapped around evidence. What is it that makes something else more evident? Facts, examples, analogy, statistics, testimony, comparisons, demonstrations. These are forms of evidence. And if we're aware of forms of evidence, we can put forth forms of evidence to make our claims more believable, more acceptable, more influential on and on, than they would be alone. Just the claim by itself may or may not get it done. We may need some evidence. All right. Number 6, eye contact is power. You know, like we're all zooming, right? We're all zooming. So get comfortable looking into the camera and making the eye contact that you need to make in a Zoom environment, in the COVID environment. The camera is the eyeball. Patty, Charlie, does it look like I'm looking right at you right now? What about now? Just kidding. How about now? Just kidding. All right, thank you. Literally, thank you. Oh my God, it warms my heart to see your smiles. Oh boy, that's why we do this every Sunday night. My goodness. All right, Joe Loves Mary. Tip number 7. Charlie, it's probably one of your favorite tips of the whole book, right? Joe Loves Mary. Joe Loves Mary. Wait, Joe loves Mary? Joe loves Mary. Joe loves Mary. Joe loves Mary. Anyway, it's the same 3 words every time. Joe loves Mary. Joe, but how you say what you're saying is in fact what you're really saying. Nonverbal communication is what tip number 7 is all about, titled Joe Loves Mary. And that took us to tip number 8, which is WIFM. WIIFM. What's in it for you? What's in it for me? Right? That's the radio station that everybody's attuned to. What's in it for me? So you have to be aware of biographical versus autobiographical communication. How many times are we communicating to learn about others versus how much are we communicating to just find out what's in it for us? And are we balancing all of that? Are we aware of all of that? That was tip number 8. Tip number 9, last week we talked about let's get emotional. Remember, Patty, remember the jam by Olivia Newton-John? Let's get physical. I'm up. Anyway, all right. So I was playing on that a little bit. Let's get emotional. Let's get into emotional. Like it's not as sexy, is it? Or maybe it is. I don't know. Who's to say? But we understand emotions are the drivers of our inner psychology. Emotions are what dictate pleasure and pain. Fulfillment of certain emotions equals pleasure. Deprivation of certain emotions equals pain. And who's willing to be emotional? Talk emotionally. Ask questions that emote emotions. Thank you, Patty. Do you like that? Write it down. Are you willing to ask questions that emote emotions? Cluby snack. Charlie, beat you to the punch. That's tonight's Cluby snack. Are you willing to ask questions that emote emotions? It's easy to want to know what other people's emotions are, but are you in touch enough with your own emotions to be willing to ask questions that emote emotions? Fair enough. Patty, are you with me on that? Thank you. I love the head. Oh, golly, I love the head nod. That was organic. And now here we are. Tip number 10. And oh my goodness. Do I have a lot to say about tip number 10 tonight? But before I get into my random rants, let me just trust what I have already written and read the damn text word for word. Here we go. Are you guys ready? Are you 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 ready? Tip number 10 in the communication section of Get a Clue in 52. 10 tips in 5 categories. Marketing section has 2 extra tips just so I'd have a year's worth. Tonight is tip number 10, the final section in the communication section. What a section, right? Here we go. Tell the truth. Oh my God, I'm starting to get passionate. I'm starting to get welled up, starting to get almost angry and frustrated at those of you out there, and you know who you are, that you are not telling the truth. You are two-faced. You are holding something back in one circumstance that you let out in the other circumstance. So you're letting it fly in one and you're saying this over here, but you're not saying it over there. And you know who you are. You know who you are. We're all guilty because we're all human. Let me read. It's hard, but how hard is it? Okay, it's really hard. We have so many influences in our life that promote harmless lying that we become desensitized to how often we lie. I'm going to say it again. I have to slow down. Is that okay with you guys, Charlie and Patty? It's hard. This is on page 36 in Get a Clue in 52. Reading word for word now. It's hard. ... But how hard is it? Okay, it's really hard. We have so many influences in our life that promote harmless lying that we become desensitized to how often we lie. How comfortable we have become saying whatever comes to mind if it sounds good in our heads. Whether or not it's true or based in any reality, there are hundreds of famous quotes about truth for good reasons. Here's some of my favorites. The truth will set you free. Unknown is in terms of author, like it's that universal. All right, let's keep going. Honesty is the first chapter of the book of wisdom, says Thomas Jefferson. Whoever is careless with the truth in small matters cannot be trusted with important matters. That's Albert Einstein. It's better to be slapped with the truth than kissed with a lie. Oh, I want to come back to that. But we're going to move forward. Denying the truth doesn't change the facts. If you always tell the truth, you will never have to remember anything. I'm going to repeat this one. Imagine this, absorb this, slow down with me on this. Absorb this into your lives, please. If you always tell the truth, you never have to remember anything. That hits home more for the guilty than the innocent. Don't shoot the messenger. I continue. If you never tell a lie, then you never have to play dumb. What? I don't remember. You all know how that feels, don't you? We all know how that feels. 2 more bullet points. Thank you for humoring me. 3 things cannot be hidden. Oh, by the way, the last one, if you never tell a lie, then you never have to play dumb. That's Anthony Kiedis, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and it's in a song on, I believe the album is Stadium Arcadium. Forgive me for not remembering the exact song. But if you never tell a lie, then you never have to play dumb. I think it's called Storm in Your Teacup. There it is. Look it up. Storm in Your Teacup by Red Hot Chili Peppers. Find the lyrics to that song. If you never tell a lie, then you never have to play dumb. See if that's accurate. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments or private message me. I move on. Page 37 and Get a Clue in 52. 3 things cannot be hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. And that brings me to the last bullet point. It just logically, I don't even have to read the book. I just, in my own mind, it's just a logical progression. I'm going to read them both back to back now. You know, my favorite quote of all time about the truth and the human condition of trying to hide it, massage it, manipulate it, manage it, promote it, suffocate it, whatever. The sun comes up every day, no matter what we do. Anyway, last 2 bullet points in succession, please. Thank you. 3 things cannot be hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth, says Buddha. And then a 5-year-old says, you cannot hide your broccoli in a glass of milk. Especially when Kluby's doing the dishes. No, I added that part. That was part of the quote. I just added that. All right. 37, reading word for word. As fun as it is to search for truth quotes online, to select and include here, you get the idea now. We lie to avoid the consequences of our behaviors. We lie to influence others to our point of view or interests. We lie to live a different reality than reality. Some of us pathologically lie for mental illness. Most of us lie out of cowardice, fear, inadequacy, or some negative emotion that really makes healthy communication difficult. I believe it is only action/behavioral change that can truly, pun intended, change our circumstances for the better. Making things up in our head and putting them out there as truth can be costly on so many levels. It's a waste of time, for one. A simple dedication to reality allows you to change and improve circumstances quicker than the time it takes pretending things are fine/great. Second, like Buddha says, truth, like the sun and the moon, cannot be hidden. That is why sayings emerge like, it will all come out in the wash, or the truth will be revealed, or all will be revealed. When the truth is revealed to contradict what lies you have told, you can no longer be trusted. I'm going to say this again. When the truth is revealed to contradict any lies you have told, you can no longer be trusted. There's nothing more important in a relationship than trust. And therefore, perhaps nothing is more important when communicating than to always tell the truth. The truth is, I love you. I love you, Todd. I love you, Josiah. I see you guys. I love you, Nadia, on the Facebook side coming on in. And I love you, Charlie. And I love you, Patty. And we are doing tip number 10 in the communication section of Get a Clue in 52. And I'm charged up, like Patty, you know me as well as anybody. And you can tell, like, ooh, what was going on with Jeff before he got on board tonight? Because boy, does he get something. You could tell there's something. And but I won't get into it unless I'm asked to. My job tonight is to promote the book. Get a Klu 52. 10 tips in 5 sections, 2 extra tips in the marketing section. And we're going to do this every Sunday night. We're going to read a tip from the book. Next week, we're going to start a brand new section. We just finished the communication section tonight. And I'm going to go ahead and say it. We finished powerfully. Because I want to talk about the truth. I want you to tell the truth. I want you to tell the truth. I want to know the truth. I want to tell the truth. And if anybody thinks I'm not telling the truth, I want them to confront me or pro-front me. On and on. Anyway, Todd, Josiah, Nadia, I see you on the Facebook side. Charlie, Patty, we're gonna go ahead and pivot now. Open up microphone. Oh, I'm plugged. Am I plugged in? No, I'm not even. It's so funny. I've had these in my ears. I'm not even plugged in. All right. We can rock and roll now. I'm going to switch my camera angle. Charlie, Patty, what do you guys got tonight? Anything?
Well,
You go, Patty.
I've just been in a 3-day sales communication masterclass with iCoaching.
Oh, you were?
Mm-hmm. And, you know, the concept that people buy from people that they know, like, and trust. And it was really interesting that the last section about the truth is how that creates trust. And that's just, I don't have a question about it. I just make a comment about how powerful that is. Because when you're, you know, offering something for sale, you want to tell the truth about it.
Well, okay. Can I feedback on that a little bit?
Oh, please do.
Yeah, there's layers there.
Yes.
Okay, number one, people want to do business with people that you know, like, and trust, right? Who would argue with that?
Nobody.
Who would argue with that? Nobody. It just sounds too logical, right? But you want to know what? If, you know, if I'm doing my finances and I'm embarrassed about my financial standing, do I want to run my financial advising through somebody that I know, like, and trust? Maybe somebody I trust, but maybe not somebody I know. You know, maybe I don't like them because they're gonna, you know, show me all the mistakes I made financially. Anyway, I want to get at, I don't know. I don't, without going too far down the rabbit hole, there's some things you need in your life where you actually want to do business with somebody that you're not like a friend with. You know, that you're not, because a lot of times in business, I've seen this, people use the friendship jam, right, as a reason to excuse themselves from the accountability jam.
Well, you're making a leap from knowing, liking, and trust to friendship, which I wasn't.
No, okay. So still, all right, agreed. I understand hearing that.
I mean, because the chapter that we're talking about is truth.
Listen, let me ask you a question.
Please do.
Do you have an imagination for something, like let's put it this way. Let me ask you what your imagination is. Do you have an imagination for when it would actually be better, right? To do some business, some element of business with somebody that you don't know. You're not sure if you like, and you're not sure if you trust. The third part is hard to overcome. It's just too logical to say, no, I always want to do business with somebody I trust. But the reason that I'm asking the question is We already know that people do business with people they trust all the time and people get burned. I trusted that person and they burned me. We got so many instances of that. Yeah.
Well, yes, it all depends. It's going to depend on the context.
Yes, agreed. Because check this out, self-fulfilling prophecy. If I put 10 grand down on something, I'm going to say that I trust the person, or else how would I put the 10 grand down or 20 grand down or whatever, right? Now, if I get my ROI on that investment, then I really trust the person. And if I don't, I don't. Okay. So there's a lot of people out there that said, yeah, I trust you, put their money down, didn't get their return on investment, right? Anyway, all I'm saying is that was just one layer to the jam, right? Is it's hard to argue with do business with people that you know, like, and trust. But I want to tell you, sometimes there's some business in my life that I would rather do with somebody that doesn't know me, doesn't know any of my friends, doesn't know any of my colleagues, doesn't know any of my coworker, doesn't know any of my sphere, doesn't know any of the parents in my community. Like, you're going to handle an area of my business where I don't want anybody else that I know in my life to know what you're doing for me. That's going to happen in my life. Will that happen in your life? Should that happen in other people's lives? Right? Just because
Well, that's a question of perspective.
Yeah. And all I'm doing is asking the question. What I want to make sure we're rooted in tonight is telling the truth.
No, I get it.
Yep.
Thank you.
And I'm telling the truth. Hey, Chelsea. Hey, Todd. Hey, Josiah. Hey, Nadia. Thank you for coming aboard on the Facebook Live side. We are in another installment of Get a Clue in 52. And Patty and Charlie have joined me online on the Zoom side. And it's very simple. tinyurl.com/get a clue. If you want to come on board to the Zoom side and interact and hang out and be part of the conversation, please do. tinyurl.com/get a clue. Excuse me. Patty, you've gone on mute, but open up if you have anything else to say. Charlie, it's my time to invite you to open up and ask what you have to say about telling the truth. That's tip number 10 in the community. Remember, tip number 10 in the communication section is tell the truth. And I'm going to be honest with you that it's hard. That's the truth. Telling the truth is hard. It's a hard thing to do. We don't always do it. I teach it. I don't always do it. It's part of being human. But you want to be a better communicator? Get better at telling the truth. Find ways to tell the truth. Charlie?
Morning, Coach, or evening, Coach Jeff. Hello, Patty. Happy International Women's Day to all my angels out there.
Oh, man. They felt you. I'm sure they did.
Yeah, today is actually one of my most humbling days where I can celebrate my angels with them as well. Whoa, telling the truth, big one. And you're so right. Now, you mentioned something and the discussion between you and Patty about selling. My question is, you actually win. You know who you are. People selling from a platform.
Hey, Charlie, quick with your point, because Josiah asks a great question that I really want to answer. So let's hear it, Charlie. And I really want to. He asked the question, how does that play into the integrity game? Oh boy, do I want to entertain that.
Yeah, he got it. He was in my head. I was actually going to ask that as my first question.
let's allow you the opportunity to finish. Please end on a question or make
Okay.
a statement. It's got to be, you're making a statement or you're asking a question.
There's a bit of both. But my question is, since you had been talking about sales, etc., and my mind immediately went to people selling from platforms, getting you to run to the back and go and buy program, book, whatever it may be. And this is no disrespect to the neuro-linguistic techniques. Is it actually a technique that they use to get you into FOMO, or fear of losing out or missing out, and then they'll spin the promise knowing that they would not be able to follow through on it, if I'm making any sense?
Well, you're asking an either or question, right? Is it this or that?
Yes.
Okay. So be succinct again. Restate the question as succinctly as possible on your this or that. Is it what or is it what?
The many platform speakers have done the neuro-linguistic training.
Yeah. Understood. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. So do they use their skills in neuro-linguistic training to put the fear of missing out to get you to buy something from them, but them very rightly knowing that they will not be fulfilling that sales promise to you with the backups, the support, etc.
Okay. That's not
Would
the
that be a
actual
lie?
question. That's just basically like, here's the deal. I don't know who specifically you're speaking of. So, right. I'm going to tell you this. Let's just break it down as much as I can. Fear of missing out. You say, well, they'll use the fear of missing out to get you to buy without worrying about if they're going to fulfill and give you what you really paid for. You're asking a lot of things, right?
Yes.
So, okay. So first of all, guess what? They're not just using fear of missing out. They're using that and, probably 20 other motivational techniques on you to get you to buy, right?
The main question is, are they actually lying to you?
Well, that's a tough question. It depends on the circumstance. I mean, look, let me play both ends of the spectrum. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. On if I'm at an event, right? I'm trying to make money. It's like my livelihood, right? I want to sell as much as I can, right? Okay. So I want to use every quote, trick in the book. And I'm not talking about me, Jeff Klubeck, by the way. I'm talking about you or whoever you're referring to, which prompted the question. Because, Charlie, you've never been to a Jeff Klubeck event, right?
Nope.
One of the reasons, by the way, that I've not done my own events yet, I've only been a supporting coach at other people's events, because I haven't cracked the code yet on how to do it so ethically in a way that, to Josiah, I'm coming to you, Josiah, and it's so ethically in a way that I feel I'm integrated, that it has integrity. Because it's tough.
That is where I was saying.
Okay, well,
Josiah's question tied into my final question.
Great question. Hang on, let me finish. Are you ready? I can't speak to whatever events you've experienced, right? I will tell you that I could probably, without naming any names, I can probably tell you, I'm probably willing to bet everything in my cryptocurrency account right now. Let's have fun and be modern. Everything in my cryptocurrency account right now, like every single dollar, every single penny in my crypto account right now, which is doing well. I'd be willing to put that on the line, right? If I've got 100% of it back and 100%, right? By saying, yeah, there's some people out there that have sold some stuff that they were lying. I mean, it's just the truth. The truth of the matter is, in the seminar industry, sorry, I'm not naming names. I don't care who you are, but you're lying. You don't fulfill. You don't give what you promise. You sell this and you deliver less than that. And that's all there is to it. And that doesn't mean you're a bad person. Doesn't mean you're a crook. It doesn't mean you're it just means that there's look at this question. Look at where it's coming from. It's because, Charlie, you've had the experience of being in an audience, either feeling like that you were lied to, or you invested and you know you were lied to after you realized you didn't get the investment, or you've been to event after event after event after event, and you've heard stories about people that felt that they were lied to, right? Like there's a place your question is coming from. Yes or no?
Yes, absolutely. I've attended in excess of 100 seminars, just seminars.
Yeah.
But if we go to workshops, fireside chats, etc.
Sure.
So I've heard tons of platform speakers, and I've spoken to and met thousands of people who, when we discuss that, they says to me, some would come to me and says, what do you think about this program? What do you think about that program? But then some of them, I would ask, which program had you bought and what support did you get from that? And from other personal experiences as well, right? Now that would actually was my next question, which Josiah had asked. How would that tie into the integrity game? I would not have framed it exactly, worded it exactly. I wasn't going to word it like that. I was going to say, how does that come in line with your integrity?
Yeah, well, look, integrity is just the adjective for two or more things that are integrated. I'm going to say that again. Everybody watching, write this down. Integrity is simply an adjective for two or more things that are integrated. How's that for a Kluby snack, Patty?
I was just going to say, Coach Jeff. I was still writing, so I was saying, Coach Jeff, that's not my Kluby snack for today.
It is. In fact, it is. Integrity is just an adjective for two or more things that are integrated. Now, Patty, you're smiling. I see your face, because now it's up to us and our imagination, our wonderful exponential possibilities, and to imagine, well, what's integrated? What do we integrate? What gets integrated with what? Back to your question, Charlie. Does the promise get integrated with the customer service? Does the price get integrated with market value? Does the level of look, you got to be an educated consumer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You got to be an educated consumer. You got to ask the right questions. And to your other point before, they're not just using NLP, brother. They're using everything they can. And if you get sucked in to all of the techniques and all the sales, gizmo, wham, bang, shang, bang, up, left, down, right. Hey, what's behind you? What credit card you want to put this on? And you get sucked into all of that, and you stop forgetting who you are.
Then now there goes
Yeah.
the old Charlie again.
Integrity. Everything's integrity. Will this program integrate with my current lifestyle? Does my lifestyle currently I'm going to buy something right now. It will consume a certain amount of time. Can I integrate that time commitment with my current lifestyle? People don't stop and people are just making purchases out of integrity.
Now that would go to my normal self, where I
Hey,
now.
for me to get the value out of this program, it's going to take 20-hour a week commitment. I'm going to have to listen to audios, watch videos, fill in the blanks in my workbook, do exercises. I probably don't have time for that, but I'll just go ahead and buy it anyway. Now the buyer's out of integrity, not the seller.
Yeah. Now that brings me
Hey, look,
back to.
listen, Charlie. Nothing works unless you do.
Exactly, but since you mentioned an educated consumer, right? Again, I'll just pivot back to tip number 2. If you're listening with all your senses and filtering the information you're getting in.
Yeah, you
right?
can smell a rat.
And then again, if you're streetwise, you can pick up that little notion.
You're better than streetwise. Look, you're better than just it's for you, Charlie. Jesus, my God. I'm sorry. I don't mean to invoke the spirit and everything, but check this out, Charlie. You are the global connector.
Yeah.
You're not just any schmo in the audience that just happened to arrive. You attend everything. You're not just, you know what I mean? So it's not just you and what you're picking up on in the moment when you're in the room, because you're the global connector. And like you said earlier, you hear what everybody else says. You talk to everybody. So you hear what people say about the program. You ask if they purchased and if they got what they invested in. You hear if they got an ROI. You hear what the real ground level. Now, check this out. People that sell certain things have a way of handling their naysayers.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
By the way, that's how Trump got elected. Never mind. I digress. All right. Patty, thank you very much for laughing. But Trump had naysayers, right? But he had a way of handling his naysayers, doesn't he? And now there's other people that are afraid of naysaying against Trump, right? And for good or bad, or for right or wrong, right? It's amazing. Some people are willing to tell the non-truth because of the political pressure. And now I'm digressing, of course, but in the seminar industry, it's not that different. It's not that different. Tony Robbins, has a way of dealing with, any business, right, has a way of dealing with negative critics. I know for a fact there's, I think, 1 or 2 people that have something bad to say about me. I think 1 or 2. Have you found any more than that, Patty? 1, maybe 2, 1. Anyway, it's going to happen. It's going to happen, right? What's the truth, right?
But what I found
we're not in the marketing section right now, but when Marissa Friedman, I'll plug her in advance. I hope to God she comes back on in the next 12 tips when we get into the marketing section. But when she was on last year with us, talking about brand management and reputation management and what are people saying about you and how do you find out what your competitors are doing and stuff like that, right? She's genius, man. Marissa's just genius. I got to tell you, when people are saying something bad about you, it's not the truth, right? Maybe it is the truth. Here's what's interesting. You do if I go online and I want to stay at, let's just say I'm going to a baseball tournament in Arizona for AJ, right? I'm gonna go to Arizona. I gotta stay there one, maybe 2 nights, Friday night, Saturday night for a weekend baseball tournament, and I'm looking for places to stay. And I get to the Days Inn. No offense, Days Inn. You're not paying me to say this Days Inn corporate. No offense. Right? Are you ready? Like I go online and it says lots of freeway traffic, tons of noise in and out, people stopping back and forth at all hours of the evening, and my room smelled like cigarettes. I think that's the truth. I think that person's telling the truth. Does that make sense? Okay. If somebody says the election was stolen, despite getting, like getting, I got like 8 million less votes and 60 court cases rejected, but I still am the president. I don't think that person's telling the truth. Now, these are extreme examples, right? Now, just because the one person said that it smelled like cigarettes and there was noise at all hours of the evening, doesn't mean that you'll have a bad stay if you go there. It was just their truth. And just because some people want to believe that Trump is still the president doesn't mean that they're bad people. It's just, right? But communication is better when we're telling the truth. And that's what I'm trying to say, is that the truth is paramount in communication, but people want to create their truth, embellish their truth, suffocate their truth, sugarcoat their truth, candy wrap their truth, because they're afraid of, ego and all kinds of other things, right? And I'm just trying to make this point that if we all have the courage, just tell the damn truth, we'll be better off. Now, it's not just about us telling the truth. It's about all of us willing to hear the truth. That's what this is really about. Are you willing to hear the truth? Am I willing to hear the truth about me? Am I willing to hear the truth about my family and my shortcomings and my son and my daughter? And, when people have am I willing to hear the truth, or do I neglect it, refuse it, poo-poo it, argue against it, rail against it? Or do I take it in? Do I receive it? Am I grateful for it? Other people's truth. So it's just an interesting conversation, Charlie. What else
Absolutely.
you
got? Now, get on to Josiah. I'd like to hear how you get to Josiah's question.
It's about integrity. What are you integrated with? When you, Charlie, if you call out somebody selling you something that they can't deliver on, you may be saying, hey, what they sold isn't integrated with what their delivery was.
Yes.
But what I'm going to go ahead and ask you is, what does saying so, what are you integrated with when saying so?
Well, it would probably be with an experience that you had. They didn't deliver as you mentioned, the customer service, or there wasn't really any value in it.
Well, here's what I want you to understand. We're not talking about the integrity game tonight, although we can, because the integrity game happens to be one of my favorite concepts. There's a preview chapter in the second version of Get a Klu in 52 that's about the integrity game, which is the book I'm working on right now. And it's so funny, Josiah. What a sense of humor! Like, I love people that are committed to personal, professional growth and humor. I believe humor is a great Trojan horse. And Josiah says, I integrated my face into the snow on the mountain today. Now he's either complaining that his face hurts or he's bragging that he got to go skiing today. I think it was the latter. And he's being jovial in our interaction today. He's here with us. Good stuff, just good stuff all around, right? So back to integration, right? I just, as I'm endeavoring to be associated with integrity, Klubeck integrity, Jeff Klubeck integrity, Coach Jeffrey integrity. Like I want to be synonymous with integrity, right? And I want to promote the integrity game. I have to let you know that most of us are really comfortable accusing others of not having any way before we look within. And I'm going to caution you, Charlie, Josiah, and anybody else, when we are asking about anybody else's integrity, we are only asking about our own. Next question.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
I'm good. Thank you, Coach Jar.
No, I want you to answer the other questions. I'd like to hear what you're going to get onto answering Josiah's question being worded differently.
Well, Josiah's only here on one-way communication. You know, Josiah's not here on live interaction. Josiah's in a very safe place, and this is not a judgment. It's in many ways an admiration to be able to just pluck and poke and just jab in every now and then. He wants us to know he's here. He wants us to know he's engaged. He wants us to know
he's integrated with Get A Klu.
And who knows how much more he wants. If he wants the one-on-one interaction, he knows how to show up. tinyurl.com/getaklu. Anyway, I digress. Josiah, he's fine in my opinion, but the thing is that your question we can't answer for him unless he's on the line with us, right?
Okay.
But talk about integrating face into snow.
Well, he's integrated with Get A Klu.
Well, look, check this out. I'll tell you right now. What if his purpose is personal, professional growth, right? So let's just say we know that about him, right? And if we're wrong, you got to come on and argue with us, Josiah, right? So let's just say his purpose is to grow spiritually, personally, professionally, spiritually, okay? And then what do we know about his gifts? I know like Josiah is a gifted learner. He's a quick study, right? He consumes and it gets it fast. He's a quick study, right? That's one of his gifts. He also has a gift for humor. He also has a gift for levity. He also has a gift for vulnerability. He's willing to just let it fly and be vulnerable, and he doesn't really care what other people think about what other people think of him. I mean, well, I would balance that. He hopes people like it, but he doesn't care. Like that's a gift. Like, hey, I hope you like this, but I don't really care. I'm gonna do my thing anyway. And then Josiah just does his thing. So if his purpose is to grow professionally or spiritually or personally, and his gifts are, as I mentioned, and those are integrated, right? Then what's his potential? Then he has the potential to climb mountains or attend certain events or become a speaker or become an author or become a subject matter expert or he's got the potential to achieve all these things. All that's integrated for him, right? Are you with me? Now, what I haven't worked with Josiah on one-on-one are his goals, the strategies that he's going to commit to in order to achieve those goals, right? Which is his word. and I don't monitor on a micro level. I don't monitor his actions because I'm not in one-on-one coaching with him. But I know these high-level things about Josiah. You follow? Right? If I was in one-on-one sessions with them, I'd know these mid-level things: goals, strategies, commitments, actions. But I don't follow him on those 4 levels the way I do my coaching clients, right? The one-on-one. And then but Josiah, I don't have to worry about Josiah. He's an action taker. I know he's taking action. I know he's learning from everything he does. And the more action he takes, the more he'll learn and accumulate, right? The more he'll learn, the more he'll accumulate, and the more he'll give and serve to others, which I hope the giving and the service that he does is reintegrated with his purpose in life, which is to grow himself. Now, that's a sneak peek. I don't know if you've noticed, but I just went through the 10-point model of the integrity game. So now I go, I don't need you to answer right now, but I turn the question back on you, my friend. How does telling the truth integrate into the integrity game? Well, it's an inside job, my friend. All right.
It's a total inside job.
Yeah. Patty, do you got anything else other than those beautiful smiles? We're at 9:03 p.m. Tip number 10 of the communication section. I might have gotten off to a little bit of a rocky start, but we are rolling now. And I'm loving the interaction. I'm getting Todd is here. He's watching on the Facebook side. Josiah, Nadia, Chelsea, and some others. Yeah, those who I see. Oh, and Shital, I see you. Thank you. Hey, Shital. Nice to see you, my friend. Any other comments or questions, Patty or Charlie, before we wind up for tonight?
I think it's been an awfully interesting discussion about truth.
Oh, man. And, listen, I didn't even get into like what I really wanted to unload on. I get frustrated. Oh, here he comes. There he is.
Hi, Josiah. I'm glad you came. We've been.
Hi,
I had to
How
pop
are
in
you
here at
doing?
some point just to see y'all.
Oh, man.
How was your move?
fantastic.
How was your move?
I'm just kind of nomading it right now. I haven't really. I'm just kind of drifting.
Okay. Hope you're good.
Oh, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. This is the kind of guy that's got a couch to sleep on, like in every corner of the universe.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
It's a great place to be. And I'll tell you what, Josiah. I mean, Patty, isn't this your experience? I don't think anybody would ever get the sense, Josiah, that you are lying to them because you are too interested in growing that you'd rather quest information from people rather than give misinformation to people. That's how am I accurate?
That's an accurate assessment. Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
Right. So I want to commend you, Josiah. I don't think you're you and Patty as well. Charlie, I don't know. No, just to be a person who no one would ever suspect of being dishonest has got to be some sort of gift. It's got to be a combination, by the way, of God-given and man-made. God gives us the ability to be honest, but we have to invest in that. And so when, we're not talking about gifts right now, but gifts is one of the 10 points on the integrity game, Charlie. And there's certain gifts that God gives us, right? And then we either ignore those or we match them, we invest in them, or we cultivate them, we invest in them, or we suffocate them, or we deny them, or it's a big deal, gifts, right? And I just props to Josiah. I think that Josiah, my experience of you, my friend, is that you were gifted with a curiosity that you're investing in. And that's integrity, my friend, right? You are integrating God-given and man-made gifts. And so when people love you, when people flock to you, admire you, respond to you, right? It's your integrity is what they're really gravitating towards, which this guy was gifted with curiosity that he's investing in. And keep it up, my friend.
Thanks, Jeff.
Is that a fair answer to the
That's-
question? How does the truth integrate within the integrity game?
Hitting on the head.
All right. I can't tell you, I could, how much I love each and every one of you, but words fall short sometimes. So here we are in tip number 10 of Get a Clue in 52. This is the second edition of the book. I'm excited about this one because it's got a bonus chapter on the integrity game. And when you pick up the second edition of this book, you can scroll past all 52 tips. You go to the end and read the bonus chapter of the integrity game and understand what I'm working on. I'm working on what I think is going to be one of the greatest professional accomplishments of my life. Forget my master's thesis, forget the first book, forget traveling around the world, 12 countries, 4 continents, yada, yada. I can't wait to put out the integrity game, and you guys deserve it, and you'll love it, and I love you in advance for loving it. So having said all of that, let's go ahead and make last call. Comments, questions, jokes, anecdotes, anything else from you guys before we wrap up tonight?
Where would you put the white lie?
Excuse me?
Where would you put the white lie?
Which wet line?
The white lie. Telling a white
The
lie.
white lie? I would put it on the opposite spectrum from the damn lie.
I love it. I love that one. You're so much fun, Coach Jeff.
The white lie? The damn lie.
There's a white lie and the damn lie.
There's a continuum.
That was good.
Lies?
No, it's a good one, Josh. Absolutely.
Is there a neutral lie like oh yeah. I don't know. I can't even make this shit up. But you know what I'm talking about, right?
You did pretty well, Coach.
Look, let's just use the continuum. Use the concept of a continuum to help you out here, Charlie. On one end of the continuum is 100% of one thing. On the other end of the continuum is 100% of its opposite.
Yeah.
And then in the middle is zero, neutral. So on the continuum of lies, right? Like, never mind the truth. On the continuum of lies, there's got to be harmless lies. And I'm sure white lies are so much fun. But, you know, why do you have to get racist, Charlie? Why not black lies?
Black lives matter. Hey, Black lives matter.
I'm totally teasing.
I know you are.
It's just so silly. This is how unaware of racial stuff I am, right? How come black got Friday, black got the whole Friday after Thanksgiving? White, all we got is the lies that are harmless. All right, that is fucking silly. That's fucking silly. All right, I digress. Thank you for laughing. I wanted to see your faces. Never forget that there's a stand-up comedian buried in me, and he can come out at any time. We are in Get a Clue in 52. Tip number 10, wrapping up the communication section. And we are doing it as jovial as we possibly can. Charlie, do you have any questions about white lies?
Yeah, it's the opposite of the damn lie.
That's your Cluby snack tonight.
There you go.
There you go, Penny.
You ever had trouble understanding what a white lie is? It's just the opposite of a damn lie. All right. Listen, I love you guys so much, and that is not a lie at all. That is the damn
Love you too, Coach Jeff.
tell the truth, the fucking truth. Just tell the God damn it, just tell the fucking truth, please. Just tell the truth. All right. Anything else for tonight, Patty? Are you ready?
Mhm.
Do it with a kiss. All right. Mwah. All right. I love you guys. Thank you so
Have a
much.
good week, everyone.
Good night,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Cheers, Josh. Have a
Thanks,
good
Jeff.
one.
All
Take
right.
care.
Peace out.